Hey everyone, and welcome back to Raising NA, the show that is 4 episodes in and still doesn't have a tagline quite yet, but we're working on it, I promise. My name is Smax, and I'm joined by Cubby and Rafa here, and both of them are absent from my screen. You can see Cubby,
Smacks.
but you can't see Rafa.
And the other thing is Smacks is apparently my name is Arrow now. So
Oh, that's
Oh,
correct. Oh, that's just a great freaking start that we have. Well, you might have noticed that we're running a little bit late here in Cubby time, which is completely my fault.
yes.
I apologize we're bearing through some technical difficulties. But also looking forward to this episode of Raising NA with everyone involved, as I will get that patched up and we can start moving right on through all the good stuff, as we do have some good stuff today.
all right.
We do.
Uh, is it time that I reveal? So
It's gotta be time. Yeah, we had to start with this. We need to see your
okay,
face.
okay. So I was thinking about first, Smacks. I want you to show your shirt to the class real quick because
Okay. All right.
Raising NA as we haven't been able to preview the graphics yet for the show, but they look amazing. And basically, we have like a 90s theme going on because that's when most of us were born. Maybe not Smacks because he's a
I
Zoomer,
was
but
born in the 90s, yes.
99, right? Or 98?
98.
Okay, so see, he counts. So, and I was shopping on Amazon and I was like, this totally makes sense to have on the
Holy
90s.
smokes.
And, I figured I might as well suit up. And this thing is a full-on Robin.
Yo! You're a whole ass Dixie cup.
Oh my god, what a great start to the show. Hey,
All
Rafa,
right.
you know what I have to say to that? Cheers, brother. Here's your Dixie cup. Anyway, moving on forward, I think that it's time that we get down to some LCS stuff, ladies and gentlemen, today, as
Yes.
we are just coming off of week 2 of games, and I get to start this podcast with my favorite phrase that I'm going to be using a lot today, because I get to use it for Proving Grounds as well, and
Can I
Academy,
guess what it is?
and LCS, when I said that 100 Thieves would prove that they are a top 3 team after week 2 of LCS, and guys, I think they're the team to beat. I think that is the big storyline of the LCS right now, is the fact that 100 Thieves legitimately look like the team to beat.
My guess was going to be "I told you so." That was my guess for what your phrase was.
I mean,
But
the
you've
phrase is
taken a
"I
more
was
modest
right."
approach.
I love the "I
Yeah.
was right" phrase.
I was right is a little bit more modest than "told you so." A little bit less in your face about it. So I'll take what I can get here.
Yeah.
But you did tell us so. 100 Thieves are I believe they are if Summer Split was isolated like it has been in the past, 100 Thieves would be in first place right now. They're 5-1.
Yes.
And there's a tie for second with Cloud9 and TSM, I believe. They're also 4-1 or 4-2. I don't remember who all else is 4-2, but I assume there are a couple of other teams. But that is who I looked at previously. But
Yeah,
yeah, a lot of these
so
look good.
yeah, Cloud9, TSM are both 4-2. 100 Thieves for summer isolated only leads with 5-1 in terms of win losses.
Yeah, and I mean, they have the best record. Also, I do think that C9, like, they're going to be better. I fully expect C9 to still be the top team in the LCS, but hey, in the first round robin, 100 Thieves kicked their ass in that game. It was all about Abadage and Closer, and this mid-jungle duo for 100 Thieves is everything that they could have wanted and more for them in this early season. They look fan-flippin'-tastic. And I say flippin' because, Abadage Sakali, pretty flippin' sweet.
Ah, very nice. Abadage, it's worth noting he didn't die in those 3 games.
Yeah.
He went deathless this entire week.
I'm kind of curious which champion is going to one-trick next week. Because, we have 3 games of Karma week 1, 3 games of Akali week 2.
He's just racking it up, man.
That might have
you
to be a
can't
Twitter
ban
poll.
him out.
Yeah, it might have to be a Twitter poll for us.
Because next week, are they going to ban Karma and Akali versus this team? And then he's just going to play one champion all the way through. So, I mean,
Maybe.
he also it's worth mentioning that he did win Player of the Week too. Abinage did, which is not surprising at all. But
Deservedly
yeah,
so.
absolutely. Also on a side note, I wanna gauge your opinion on this, Cubby, as our resident LCS expert. I've heard some comments and I've read some comments too from people saying that they believe FBI is the strongest AD carry in the league. What do you think about that?
I think a lot of that's due to his Pro View, which I haven't gotten the chance to check out. But with Pro View back this split, I've had multiple players like tell other players to watch FBI's Pro View. They think it's one of the best in his role. Also, other shoutouts have been Danny. Actually, his Pro View on Samira, Freak was particularly impressed with. And I think that Danny has performed very well in the early season. But honestly, like, is FBI being the best AD in the league, like, even much of a surprise at this point? Like, I don't think that's surprising. As Rafa's screen does go black, he might have been surprised by that. But
Sorry.
I really do not think that FBI being the number 1 AD in the league is surprising.
I think it's definitely a shock to longtime fans who aren't as invested in this year or like the modern era of LCS marksman. But yeah, I don't think it's really that surprising if you've been paying attention for
Because,
this
like,
year. And last year as well in Golden Guardians, he had a great year too. So
exactly, yeah.
it's been a steady climb all throughout.
Like, in that playoff run, Sven and Vulcan were the only bot lane that was, like, substantially better. Or, wait, no.
Well, Sven's not even in the league
Yeah, exactly.
anymore,
Yeah. Hold on, I messed that up. Who'd they lose to? Because they reverse swept TSM, notably. Or no, because Double
I
Lift,
think
like, no, they lost to TSM, but
yeah, they lost to
afterwards,
TSM.
Double Lift said that, like, FBI and Hui were the better lane. And throughout that tournament, they were the best bot lane, like, unanimously, as the two of them. Sorry, I got confused there. I really, like, given the fact that Sven was swapped out, I guess it kind of surprised me that, like, Tactical Core JJ isn't, like, straight up better, and I think they're playing well. But honestly, it doesn't really surprise me because I think the FBI and Hui were playing pretty good league in the last split, and most of their problems came from mid. And if you're a 100 Thieves fan right now, and I'll hit on this when we talk about Academy too, I think they have the best team in the LCS and Academy through 2 weeks. And if you're a 100 Thieves fan, your Achilles heel in history has been your mid laner. And I think that for both Academy and for LCS, they're now getting kind of carried by their mid laner. I think that both Ryoma and Abadage have been fantastic for both teams. And that's one of the reasons I've been so impressed with 100 Thieves, because it seems like that weakness that they had in the last split for both of those squads has been shored up. And they feel like a very strong team in both leagues, and a team that everyone else has to look out for as they're vying for top 3.
It's real impressive. And I think this is the first time in a long time where 100 Thieves have not been in a position where you're questioning whether or not they're going to sub out their mid laner either. Because it feels like they're both solidly in their spots now.
Yeah.
Because it's been a long time coming for that, but I think the the sentiment around 100 Thieves since they even entered the league has always been around mid lane and question marks. I mean, we've got a resident 100 Thieves dad on this stream right now as he's been indoctrinated into the 100 Talk Pod and Cubby. And those guys talk about the 100 Thieves mid laners all the time and how they're really upset about them. And I don't think they can be upset anymore. I think they can finally be relieved.
Yep.
So huge.
I'll save 100 Thieves Academy and my view on them for when we get to Academy. I definitely agree that Abadage is by far the best mid laner that the 100 Thieves org has picked up in pretty much
ever
all time when you think about
yeah.
all the generations, right? I'm not sure if I agree that, like, Riom is playing well, but we'll get to Academy when we get there.
Yeah,
but,
we'll get there.
But yeah, 100 Thieves in LCS right now, it is incredible to think how not many people would have attributed that, get an import mid laner that'll fix all the issues for 100 Thieves, and yet we also cannot take away any credit from Reaper as the coaching staff, and we don't know what's going on behind the scenes either, right? But I think with Reaper coming in for a coaching staff role, whether it's just an overall team mindset difference that he has been able to help establish, or some type of culture practice is going on over there. But right now, 100 Thieves.
Sometimes just like a change of pace too. Like
yeah, it could always be that.
Yeah.
Now, what I'm curious is that 100 Thieves super dominant right now. Playing devil's advocate, does this hype train actually stop? Like, do 100 Thieves ever fall victim to the classic, oh, we're so good, we're so dominant right now, that they get complacent at some point?
Like Cloud9 summer. Last year.
I mean, I think that other teams can, catch up. But if we go to the LCS and the teams that they have next week, they play COG, FlyQuest, and then TL. So that's the only tough team they have left in the first round robin. And they're 5-1. And they beat TSM and C9 convincingly.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a
good
piss
wins.
stomp. They died the first 2 days of this week. They died a total of 6 times. And I don't know how many deaths they had in today's game, as I was out on my run and I just kind of caught
I think it
highlights.
was 3. I think
So
it was 3 today.
As a
it was
team,
not close today
They died
either.
9 times this week. I mean, like, that is a ridiculous week of League of Legends. And even thinking back to week 1, like, they looked shaky in the first game against IMT, but after that, they've been rock solid. I also do want to highlight with the coaching, Rafa, since you did bring that up. Yeah, we don't know what goes on behind the scenes, and I don't like to speak on it too much, but what I do know is that not only is it a reunion for Abadage and Closer, but also Freeze was on that team in the TCL. And ever since Freeze has stepped in, I remember Proving Grounds last split, all of 100 Thieves their academy team was giving a lot of praise to Freeze and his help in prep. And I think that, early this year, I've heard some nice things about Freeze once again. So I think that just that coaching staff as a whole and that team, I mean, whatever they're putting in their breakfast is working for them because they're having wins across the board. I think they went undefeated this week in both Academy and LCS. It's ridiculous. I mean, they're on fire in the early season.
They're the only team that went undefeated in either league, and they did it in both.
Yeah, they're on fire in the early season. And they're like, it's tough wins this week. I mean, they smashed TSM, and then, GG, it's not as good, but when you think about the way that they beat TSM and C9, like, that's the really impressive part to me. I mean, they beat Blabber and Perks bad. Like, Perks had a bad game, but they beat them bad.
I am wrong, by the way. Cloud9, their LCS team also did go 3-0 this week. So,
yes,
my apologies. But they are still the only team that went undefeated.
I think they dropped
an
Academy
leagues.
game, though.
Cloud9 did, yes.
Yeah.
I believe they did to Evil Geniuses.
CLG Academy.
Sorry, guys. There's 45 games to keep in mind.
True. Technically, 100 Thieves next didn't lose any games this week either. So, undefeated in all 3. Just throwing that out there.
True.
We'll see about the Risen OQs next week. But yeah, I mean, we've talked everyone's ears off about 100 Thieves already. We're big fans. You can call us the 100 first, second, and third Thieves for today's show because we're not done talking about them when we get to Academy.
It's hard not to be a fan with like the way they're winning right now. I mean, dying 9 times in three games in this league that's filthy. That's a really strong week of League of Legends. So I want to see if they can keep up the form.
Yeah. So with that, let's move on to another team. What else has been interesting this week? I have one on a more pessimistic note. Do we want to go more positive right now, or do we want to dip into the the fire?
Rafa's got good vibes with his attire today, so I'm just gonna let Rafa be the lead on the vibes.
All right.
What are we going? We're going good or bad here, Rafa?
I think we should end with good vibes for LCS. So, Smacks, you can be bringing your food poisoning bad vibes into.
Oh man. Yeah. Full disclosure, I'm not feeling very good today. I had some food earlier that did not sit well with me. But anyway,
Smacks it's a flu game for Smacks. He is Jordan. This is the flu game. He's gonna drop 40, and it's gonna be just fine.
Let's go.
All right, that's good. Well, I'm gonna start by dropping 3, and that's exactly what Immortals did this weekend. seeming like the coin flip team already, just in their results alone, 0-3 this week, 3-0 last week. I mean, Pretty only played for one game, so it's not just him that had some troubles today
Yeah,
and this weekend, guys. What's going
I.
on?
So the thing about Immortals too is that let's look at their wins from last week. They beat 100 Thieves in the first game, which I mean that looks damn good now, right? But they took them down in the
Yeah,
first game. Then they beat Golden Guardians and COG.
CLG, the two bottom
that's
teams
true.
in LCS right
So,
now.
like coming out of that first week, I thought that TSM and 100 Thieves were the teams playing the best league, and I thought that C9 would pick it up because, I mean, Abadage deservedly got Player of the Week, but I thought that Perks was almost more impressive with his play this week. He really stepped it up, but focusing back on IMT, the style they lost. That EG game was close. Every EG game seems to be a banger.
Yep, true.
The Dignitas game was not close, and their bot lane got gapped a little bit by Neo and Afromu. I think that they had a very, very good performance, and Dardoch, of course, is the engine of that team, is very good. And then today against TL, like TL is a strong team, and they just couldn't like keep up. Like once TL gets a lead, they're really tough to crack the armor of, you know.
Yeah,
And I
Yale really
don't
didn't do anything that astounding today,
I
but
like if you're
it
an
just
Immortals
they
fan,
didn't crack.
yes, they're 3-3. Yes, it's an 0-3 week, but this meta is really good for Xerxes, and he's looking like one of the
That's
stronger
true.
junglers early in the season. Like there are some good things that you can take away from this, right? You lost to EG when you were giving Pretty some LCS time. I think that's deserved. He got his Orianna, which is his best champion. He didn't look great, but I can't really fault IMT for doing that. And yes, Pretty was only going to start the first game of the week. That's not a full-time replacement. I know that it was reported differently on the main broadcast, but that was what Immortals was saying in their post. So, of course, Insanity stepped back in day 2 and 3, just to clarify in case anyone missed that. That's Immortals, like, I just need to see more out of them. And I don't have very high expectations for them. So, honestly, like, I think that the 3-0 is kind of a fake 3-0 going up against GG and CLG. And I want to see more. Like, Revenge is like seems like a little bit coin flippy to me still, like in this early season. Like the first week, him and Xerxes, man, were pulling off dives, pulling off early plays around the crab, and then it just looked like they got a little bit more passive this week with their comps, and it wasn't able to work out quite as well. So I don't know. I'm curious what you guys think. Like I need more data on them.
I definitely feel similarly. I think that week one is not just like a flash in the pan, and that they're just done. Like if they go 0-3 again next week, who are they, here, let's see who they're playing. It'll be TSM, Cloud9, and FlyQuest. If they go 0-3 again, then we're getting into some problematic territory because right now it is definitely feeling like Evil Geniuses and the teams above Evil Geniuses, so that's 1 through 6 basically, and then Immortals, who is the head of the rest of the pack at 7. It's feeling like that gap is about to get bigger. Um, but the power of that is in Immortals' hands. I feel. I don't think the FlyQuest is going to close the gap on their own. CLG and Golden Guardians are a combined 3 wins out of their 12 total games so far. So I think they're not showing signs of life as much. So if any team is going to do it, it's going to be Immortals, and I think next week is going to be the most telling for that. Like if they
Rafa,
show competitive games against FlyQuest, or if they show competitive game against FlyQuest and maybe beat them, and then you know either lose gracefully or find the upset against the other two, then I think that's a really big deal as far as like pushing the envelope on what this team is going to be capable of in the summer.
Rafa, I'm kind of
Yeah.
curious. Who are you higher on in the early season, Immortals or FlyQuest? Because both teams are sitting at 3-3, very similar spots in the standings. I'm kind of suspect on each team. I'm curious what your thoughts are too, Smacks, but I want to get Rafa involved.
It's interesting because FlyQuest had a pretty banger win against TSM yesterday, right? And
They played so well. Yeah.
Yeah, Palafox looked insane on the Lucian, man. And I was considering how much jungle attention was put towards mid lane during that early game as well. And it's just like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, he was on
There have been some Palafaker games for
the
sure.
Silas that game where he like
the Silas game.
So we talked to him.
Oh, I thought it was playing Lucian.
PoE was playing Lucian, I believe, and he had the Silas. Was that a PoE Lucian? Sorry guys, there's so many fucking games.
I'm pretty sure Mark's right about that game, but there was a Silas game where Palafaker came out too.
Yeah,
that was their only win this week. It was that one. Because we talked to him afterwards and I asked him about Silas.
Yeah. Anyway, Palafox is starting to be more and more convincing. I know that when he first came in for FlyQuest as their mid laner last split, there's a class of mid laners right now that were just like, I think it's between him, a Blaze Olive, and Insanity, where they all just like sat in Academy for so long that when they finally came into LCS, it was like past the point of where, it's not a question of are they ready yet, but it was like, do we really care, I guess, anymore? And I know that sounds harsh, but I know that like a general consensus about like Academy is when you get young talent, prospective talent, but they just sit in Academy forever and ever because LCS teams rather want to bring in an import straight from another region and put them in the LCS squad right away. And so I guess therefore my expectations was kind of ruined because I thought, oh well, why are we putting in these people when I want the mid laners that I just watched like crush it in amateur, semi-pro, and got into Academy. Like, and I think that's unfair to. I know like my view is unfair to Palafox and a Blaze Olive and Insanity because it's basically like, oh well, I never got used to these guys. I never watched them as much because the broadcast never did justice for Academy in the past because the way they handled broadcasts and promoting player names of Academy players was never great to begin with. Hopefully it's starting to change now with Proving Grounds and integrating Academy and Semi-Pro at the same time. But yeah, for me that's why it's so surprising to see Palafox do so well. But I don't know if like it's because I had such low expectations for him to begin with.
So interestingly, this is something that was true of the spring split too, but moving into the summer split, it's remained the same. This is the first time in like 7 years, 8 years maybe, that half of the mid laners are NA residents, and they are from NA as well. It's not from Europe and like became an NA resident like Bjergsen. And I think that is partially because of the COVID things that went down, like a Blaze Olive on Golden Guardians. I think Palafox is
half the
an
teams have
example of
NBA funding. They lost revenue.
Yeah, exactly. But it's interesting seeing the big like surge of these players like you're mentioning, Rafa, the Insanity as well. Who have been sort of festering for a long time, and they're finally getting their break. And I don't want to like count out the NA resident mids here, but you can sort of see a visible divide there with what teams have the NA mid laners and which ones don't. The only swap that could be that would be made right now in the results exclusively is
EG.
Dignitas and Evil Geniuses, because EG is 6th, Dignitas is 5th. But other than that, 7 through 10 is the NA mid lane teams, and 1 through 4 are the import mid teams.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And I mean, is Perks just instantly the best player in NA when he's imported? Yeah, except for Core JJ. So like you have that. Abedage's been smurfing it. Jensen's always been at the top of the table. So like you have all these guys who like have already proven themselves and everything, but it's definitely a thought that I've had on whether or not that role in this region is able to compete.
For what it's worth,
And yeah.
in their win, I think that Palafox was deservedly the player of the game with his Silas against PoE's Lucian. He gave a really interesting answer, actually, because we had him on for the interview at League Day. And I asked him about the Silas, and he said, when I used to go to Korea, I had to like play mages, and I wouldn't do that well against like the melee characters, like playing their one tricks. And they were like all so good, and like their movement was like so clean. So I just started spamming Silas when I went over there and got really good at them. So he like definitely feels very comfortable on the Silas, and it shows. I mean, he's put up multiple good performances on the champion. I think FlyQuest are 3-3, and his Silas is 2-1. So I think there is some merit behind that.
Yeah.
And for what it's worth, too, I think that out of him and Sanity and Ablaze Olive, I think that Palafox has looked the strongest so far. I know that Ablaze Olive carried GG to a couple of those wins, but I think Palafox is pretty consistent. The issue with the FlyQuest is like Dreams and Jose Diodo are not in sync yet. Dreams has been getting caught out on warding missions solo in pretty much all their games, and Johnson's not going to win lane. He's like going to get to late game, but Palafox and Jose Diodo are like on a better page. They're starting to work together a little bit better, and that's a really good sign for FlyQuest fans. Like that TP play that Palafox made against TSM to turn around that top lane gank with Jose Diodo, like that's the kind of shit that like you want to look for if you're a FlyQuest fan, and they're starting to do some of that. So that's really good.
Faker is online for this split, and it's good. It's good.
Oh man, Faker Dage. Meta.
Faker Dage.
Yeah.
That is also one of them. It's just a shame that Soligo does not have a faker that you can just insert into his name.
I mean, hopefully Soligo gets put back in. I really was personally, I thought that Soligo was performing fine in Diggs 2-1 week, and that was very surprising to me, as I think in Academy, I see Yasui struggle in matchups where I've seen Yasui struggle in some matchups. He's good on Assassins, but I've seen him struggle in like matchups where you shouldn't. And he has like, he oftentimes gets counterpick and not like doesn't always cash it in Academy. I was surprised at that.
Is this where we talk about the roster situations?
Yeah,
because there have been a few.
The how LCS teams can stay relevant in the 24-hour news cycle, make a roster swap. That's what it feels like, you know. Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're yeah.
There have already been some extreme examples in this split in the first 6 games. There's the whole Alfari situation, which
we got some clarity.
You know, they did tell us a little bit more.
2 weeks of
Alfari
Jenkins.
is still on. It's 4 weeks of Jenkins, Cubby.
Yes, 2 more weeks of Jenkins.
Yeah, two more. True. So Alfari is still on the team, but he is, well, he's taking a sabbatical, and you hope for him that it's a paid vacation. But I mean, with his tweets, I don't want to speculate on that. But he's clearly not all at peak performance. For Alfari.
What was the old meme from like Edward Gaming or Jackie Love? There were some negative gaming experiences. Yeah, there were some negative gaming experiences.
He's got some negative gaming.
So we're gonna make those positive again.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see what they do on the 27th. And if Jenkins
maybe he can pull a Wonder. Is there like a new World of Warcraft thing that he can play for a bit? It seems to work for Wonder.
I just want to. I mean, obviously, everyone would like to know what happened behind the scenes. If
we won't.
Alfari just went off on someone, or if he went off on a coach and Team Liquid was like, "Hey man, you can't do that."
Honestly,
And-
it just all sounds super weird, and I don't like want to speculate too much on that. That's their
Right.
business.
Sure.
But Bob Jenkins, hell yeah.
Jenkins is doing his best, man, and I think that Jenkins has been one of the better tops that we've had in Academy for a long time. I've been guilty of not hyping him up as much because there are other top line talents that I really like in Academy, but he's been playing great. I mean, he's trying his best to get TL wins, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
and you have to consider that he is
He's
also
doing double duty.
Yeah, he's playing Academy and LCS because Afari is practically
7 a week.
not allowed for both.
Proud
either
member.
play.
Proud member of the Bob Jenkins fan club.
Yes. Save me a seat at the next meeting. I would love to be there.
Sounds good. Just talk to Spawn. He's got it all figured out.
All right.
As we look to close out LCS, I will now bring back some good vibes. I know I didn't answer your question about whether I think FlyQuest or Immortals look better. For that, I will say I think they're both equal. I personally am more a fan of FlyQuest because I love incorporating Jose Diodo, because even though he is a quote-unquote import, he is a LAN import. And I'm a more fan of incorporating our Western hemisphere talent within the Americas.
Trying to win a championship on this side of the planet.
Yeah. And then
How dare you, Rafa?
like, it's not that I'm against using European talent or Eastern talent. Like, if we reach out to them and LCS orgs want to win, cool. It's just the sentimental part of me likes to use local resources versus external resources, if that makes sense. It feels nicer to like bring up other minor regions versus just like, oh shit, we're losing. Well, I guess we have to reach out to other major regions. So, and I know Cubby's gonna hit me with a, yeah, well, your job as an org is to win. I know, I hate it. So, you know, I wish that, yeah, it could not have to be run by like.
I think Jose Diodo is like actually very hopeful. Like, I'm happy that he's here. I think that he's got like a lot of talent, and there are definitely good moments of Jose.
Yeah, coming from the La Liga Latina America, like the last time we saw like a prodigy as good as Jose Diodo was White Lotus, and that was an 80 carry. The strongest jungler that ever came out of LLN in prior years was someone like Odi from Leon Gaming and Arco Siete. But Jose Diodo has been on a completely higher level, and Odi has even spoke like super praises. Like, Jose Diodo does things that I never even thought that, you know, to do. And Odi does crazy shit. Whenever like Leon Gaming went to Worlds and had to go through Wildcard, I remember Odi doing some like super crazy, like weird pathing shit that, like, you know, I distinctly remember the Kazakhs game where like red buff and then looped around the entire jungle and invaded and like gimped someone at their
Smax
raptors.
just spawns a cat behind the camera.
Yeah, it was so good, man. But anyway, the thing I'm super happy about is that Golden Guardians Academy are almost already about to match how many wins they got in the spring split super early on. So let's go.
They got another win today. It looked
nice. At this pace, they will end with 9 wins. In the summer split, which would total 12. Just saying.
They aren't.
It's not bad.
I have a mean take for Academy. I will end on a few nice notes. One, let's talk about a good roster swap. Danny looks really good through 2 weeks of the LCS.
Danny good.
I think that Danny was a good move for EG. And when you have a 17-year-old that's already able to stack up with some of the best, it can only go up from there, right?
Danny good. I'm very happy that we're getting some of that depth of the NA marksman role in LCS. As has always been true, I think. Like some of the greats, we got Double F to get Sneaky, who are no longer in the league. Like that talent pool has always been huge in this region. So
All
I'm
right.
really glad that it's continuing.
And then I'm going to finish LCS with one nice statement about COG.
Ooh. Do it.
It is nice that COG figured out that their only playmaker is Broxa, and they let him play playmakers, and it looked good.
It almost worked against TSM.
It's a bit of a backhanded compliment, but there was direction, right? Like they had direction this week. They were gonna put Brox on a playmaker and play through POB, and at least there was something good. It was something good from COG this week, and I feel really bad for Brox in the interview. I also felt really bad for King when we interviewed him. King said, "Thanks for all the fans that rooted for me. Although I know Sven's super popular, he's like, I appreciate it." Like something like around the lines of that. Like, man, that was like pretty heartbreaking. So it's kind of sucks to like see like some of like the heartbreaks, right? Like in those interviews, like the sad moments. But COG was better. It's not good.
Yep.
They're still bottom 2 team. It was better.
Yeah, they're not last yet. So
yeah,
they're
there
doing
was
it.
direction.
They're definitely doing it. They beat Golden Guardians. So good on them.
Okay.
But yeah, they almost beat TSM with it too. They had a good early game plan with that. They attacked Huni a lot. So
okay. Moving on to Academy. Academy was kind of a dumpster fire this week, but a beautiful one.
7 out of the 10 series were 1-1.
And it was like each game
hint.
was like a 26-minute just pub stomp because someone did something really stupid.
Yep.
That was what Academy was this week.
Oh, it was awesome. It was a very, very good time.
Except for EG that only plays bangers.
Yeah, EG, that's just expected at this point for EG. But
Rafa, what's up?
Yeah, so let's Rafa's tires are looking, a little low on air. We got to pump them up real quick.
It's true.
Rafa made his Academy debut this week. Hell yeah. Casted
Rafa,
with the Crumbly Man.
Front row seat yourself. How'd you feel? What were the games like? What were you impressed with? What were you not impressed with? This is now a roasting.
So, the first dub was that CLG Academy got a win. It Keel on Fiddlesticks.
They got 2 wins.
Looks pretty good. In fact, he and Schernfire are the only Fiddlesticks players in all of Academy so far, which is kind of a cool thing to see that is being developed. In fact, me and Smack saw more Fiddlesticks in play versus than any other league
I am a fan of Fiddlesticks in a Rumble. Anyway.
Yeah. So, the Fiddlesticks tech in the Rumble is cool. But, Schernfire and Keel are the only people that dip into that champion. And when I was talking with Joshi before he and Desterux casted Thursday's games, he went throughout the entire, world of leagues. No other league is playing Fiddlesticks at all. No Major League, no ERLs, no EU Masters. In fact, Fiddlesticks has only showed up in Academy and then in Semi-Pro doing open queues and play versus.
Have the ERLs started up again?
No, but I'm just saying, for context, the ERLs of other places,
right? Got it.
Minor leagues, and it has not popped up anywhere. So considering that Team Liquid and CLG are the only people that dip into that tech is super cool. The other super cool thing is that 100 Thieves Academy are by far away the best Academy team in the entire. I know we were. That whole program is on fire because they're, like you said, Cubby, they're leading Summer Split in LCS, technically still second because of the overall score carried over from Spring, but Academy by far and away the best team. And you said that Ryoma is carrying this team. It's Candy, man. Ryoma played against Sword.
It's tenacity, man.
Yeah, well, okay. Tenacity is also doing really well. This whole squad is doing well. I just want to point out that before, Ryoma's playing well. Played against Sword though this week, so that is feel like when Sword gives up 100 CS for free and
Oh my god.
gets Flame Horizon the majority of times, it's pretty easy to look good. But Kenvi is insane, and I think at this rate, Kenvi, 100 Thieves might keep closer for next year, but there might be serious offers to bring Kenvi up into LCS next year at
So
this rate.
before
He's
we
so
did
good.
the 100 Thieves game, I asked Tenacity about, like what they've been working on in the offseason. And he said, we're playing a little bit more towards top, and it feels like me and Kennedy have been freed up a bit more. And like I think a part of
It
that's because
looks
they're
like it.
growing and they're playing better. But also he said that, they like playing with Ryoma a lot. And the one game that I saw, the 100 Thieves game where they beat C9 in that game 1, pretty dominant fashion in week 1, that game was carried by Ryoma. He won every lane playing Lulu mid. Like, that's pretty disgusting. I think that Ryoma, like, when he was playing in Academy last split, I thought that he was the best mid laner in Academy, and I think that he's really pushing to get that title for himself once again this split. I think he's
Yeah.
looking really good. And I think that's part of the reason why Kenby is looking so much better is because that they're really in sync. Like the Lulu Kindred, it's disgusting. Like you cannot give them Lulu Kindred. The game's over, and I've heard it's even better from other teams too. So
Yeah.
they're looking good. But I think that C9 is, and frankly TL, I think that they're right there.
Yeah. First of all, before we talk about the other teams, big thing happened in 100 Thieves Academy for this week that went very unnoticed, but I'm going to bring it up right now. They drafted Lulu and Irelia as their solo laners. And Lulu went top, and the Irelia went mid.
Yeah.
And they still smashed everybody.
Yeah.
Just saying. They showed the flexibility. I was in the chat. We were all in the chat like, oh, holy shit, Tenacity got his Irelia. This is so pog. And then he got Lulu. And everyone's like, what the fuck, man? This is so dumb. Give him the Irelia. And then they both crushed
Golden
it.
Guardian series, right? Because
It was amazing. Yeah. I was very impressed. And I mean, yeah, I'm just very happy about this team.
They're good.
Like I said, they're the only undefeated team in
playing
the
really
Academy.
good.
But let's move on to C9 and Team Liquid, who like you said, Cubby, also still looking great. I believe TL did take a 2-2. So not quite the same results that they got last week, which was a 4-0. C9 took 3-1. Which they did last week too. One of the losses was against 100 Thieves, so that makes sense. This time they lost a game against CLG. I believe that was the Fiddlesticks game. Rafa.
Yep.
I think that is what it was.
I think Keel's pretty proud about that one, as he is in the chat.
Oh,
I would be
dude,
too.
Keel, you're looking really good, man.
Yeah, it's one thing for CLG Academy to pick up wins against teams that are like kind of middle of the pack, Immortals, but to pick up a win against Cloud9 Academy,
Big.
fantastic. That is fucking amazing. So honestly, good on CLG Academy. And I will say that when I got to talk with Miko, that the whole Academy team had like a sit down and they just like said, you know what, there's a switch that was turned on and our scrims are actually looking so much better. The team is playing more cohesively. And, for the Immortals Academy game that they won, it showed. The counter engages from Keel's Fiddlesticks were great, and then the rest, Osama had some nutty fucking dredge line hooks, man, and following up on the engage as well. So just honestly, props to CLG Academy just starting to turn things around for them, because obviously going 0-4 in the first week is not, easy to bounce back from.
Yeah.
And, just carrying on from the previous split as well, as you're trying to figure out a team identity. So, but I like this direction for CLG Academy, and at supporting Kangas so that he doesn't have to be in as much pain for his farmers runs. Hopefully gets better and better.
Dude, he's gonna be jacked by the end of the summer at this rate.
Yeah, he is.
Um,
So, well, go ahead, Cubby.
a few notes. TSM. I think that like that Hanser and Cody Sun are still really good. But there's like a couple teams that like I'm just kind of like writing off at the moment. Like Dig, I don't know if Soligo and Yasui are going to swap back or not. I personally think higher of Soligo, honestly.
Yeah, I agree.
Also, IMT, I know that Viper and Anda are still in Canada, so he's playing with like 80 ping, and so I just kind of take their results. The
Yeah.
fact that they're winning games is like, that's pretty good. Like, I'm not really taking their results for anything. Like, they don't mean anything to me early in the season.
Right. I hope they get to LA soon
And then
because we need to see them at peak performance. for sure.
EG look like EG's LCS team, except like with 3 Jizukes instead of 1. And it's just like either just a beautiful smashing or like they just get shit on for like 24 minutes. And there's no in between.
I absolutely love everybody who's saying in the LCS chat that like Evil Genius's LCS is a JoJo Pyun waiting room when JoJo is just as coin flippy in these games as Jizuke is. It is exactly the same. They are so similar.
Like, don't get me wrong, like
in the
usually
summer
it goes
split.
better.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
And now they have Team Luke on top of that, so it's a great
Team
time.
Luke is like, dude, Team Luke is playing Academy the exact way I would expect Team Luke to play, without 0 fucks given in the world, and with his limit test on stage.
Bro.
Which
It's
honestly,
so
for Academy
good.
and like for Team Luke, I love because like it works out for him most of the time,
Yeah.
right? And he's gonna get better faster
Yeah.
doing that. Like he doesn't look bad. But
They're above 50% with it. So I mean, if it's gonna
oh my
work,
God.
then yeah.
I watched him.
They've got 30 games. So.
I didn't see much Academy this week, but I saw the Tristana versus Kog'Maw 1v1 where Team Luke was like going in and out of tower range, like trying to max out his range, and like took the half step in and just like died because he like ate a tower shot. And I saw it the entire time.
Oh,
like he's going for
no.
this. Like he's gonna try
Yeah.
a path around it.
You absolutely know every time what Team Luke is thinking. It's amazing.
Also,
okay.
I'm
What's
looking at
up?
chat. Rafa, you have an amendment. You want to say that on air in case for the podcast?
Yeah, so I said that Osama was landing good hooks. I meant to say he was landing good Magnet Storms on Realm. Nautilus was being played by
Everyone.
No.
True.
Well, I mean everyone, but in that particular game, Joey instead.
Got it.
I
Okay.
just supports mixed up. But anyway, Magnet Storm, Crow Storm, banger shit from CLG Academy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway,
I have
Nice.
an award to give.
Oh, yes, I love awards.
For this split or for this week of Academy. And that award is the highest mountain and the lowest chasm
That
in
goes
one
to EG.
single game. Nope. No,
Oh.
it doesn't.
Okay.
That goes to Golden Guardians Academy against 100 Thieves, where they were winning so fucking hard in the early game. They were up like thousands and thousands of gold. The bot lane was so doomed. And they were Ezreal Karma against Tarek and Callista, so like
Mhm.
they had already got the scaling advantage. They had already killed Callista and Tarek a bunch of times. They denied them off of so many waves. It was really like crushing. The victory was crushing against Golden Guardian or against 100 Thieves, 4 Golden Guardians. And then they just fucked it up so magnificently. I still to this day have thought about it. I've gone back and watched, and I'm like, how did this even happen? How did they possibly lose?
Poor Prismal.
And it's a mystery. I don't know how they thought to do that, but they did. And exactly right, Cubby. Poor Prismal. He's up so much against what is one of the best bot lane pairs in the whole league, in Luger and Poom,
The best.
and they just
I guess you
they
gotta
just
say.
ruin it. They just ruin it. It's so tragic.
man.
The Golden Guardians, they just, for both teams, both of their teams, they really need to fix up their late game. Because I don't think that the Golden Guardians, LCS or Academy teams, I don't think that their early game is bad. I don't think their early game is the reason
The
why
GG
they're
win, they
losing.
came back against C9 late game. I don't think GG's
That's
like
true.
late game's brutal. I haven't seen like enough of it yet.
The Academy team definitely
Okay,
needs
okay,
to work
that's
on
fair.
it.
That's fair.
Because Niles is getting some advantages in top lane,
Which we expect.
in his own lane. Yes, exactly. We expect that to happen. Prismal is laning well with Newbie, but oh my god, the Academy team for Golden Guardians just really needs to fix that.
Okay. One last addendum or amendment. I was going through teams where I think the results are kind of invalid at the moment, just given like the roster swaps. TLA would be another one. I do think TLA is a top team when Jenkins is there full time, so that's why like. I also think that Hunter Thieves Academy and C9 Academy are stronger than COG and Golden Guardians in the LCS, and that's the last one that I'll drop, and then we can just move on with not even discussing that.
Yeah, we don't need. To.
I really do.
Yeah,
I will say, if we're trying to close out Academy, unless you have more things to say about Academy, because
no,
I would like to actually speak about TSM Academy, because the addition of Hyper has actually been somewhat promising. When you look at the first game against 100 Thieves Academy that TSM played, they were actually up. They were up in gold. They went to a very risky strategy with Talia jungle, setting it up with the Renekton for Haunter, and they actually put Tenacity in the dirt on Lee Sin. He was far behind. They dove him under tower. There was a turret dive that was a little bit scuffed after Tenacity TP'd back, but the damage was still done, and Tenacity was like out of the game. He should have been out of the game for pretty much the whole fucking game, and TSM had this huge lead through the top side of the map, but 100 Thieves just were patient. And at some point, I don't remember exactly if it was after the third dragon, there was a pick made on the Haunter in the bottom side of the map, and then TSM just underestimated Karma movement speed and how Xin Zhao can be one of the most terrifying bruisers in the game that just stat checks you.
Dude,
and
what
doesn't
about
give a
Dig?
fuck about range threats at all, because Crescent Guard is awesome.
It was the first pick Xin Zhao today.
Yeah,
and it won.
That pick seems to be working well. I hated the Frostfire build. I hated any build that you could just slap onto Jarvan and it'd be better. But the Divine Sunder build
pretty good.
With Lulu is
that's
really
pretty
good. Yeah,
that's pretty good.
I think the Gore Drinker
the Sunder
is fine
so
too.
good.
Yeah,
Gore Drinker's good too. Yeah, I just don't like it when he's going for the Frostfire build, because then
we're past
like I said,
that.
you should just play Jarvan.
Because like
But the
Karma
Sunfire build's
Lulu,
not bad either. I like the Sunfire build too.
If you've seen LPL,
because he attacks a lot.
LPL's been banning Karma Lulu like red side every game.
Like on red, yeah.
Yeah, they think it's super OP. And it's gonna probably affect the meta, so that like we'll see more Xin, especially if you get paired up with Enchantress. 100 Thieves were
I
ahead of
think
the game.
Lulu was banned in all of the LEC games today, if I remember correctly.
We're seeing Lulu Cog back as well. Yeah, those Enchantresses are getting a lot of play. Any other words on Academy, Rafa?
Darshan got his first competitive penta in all of his career.
Dude, what a baller, by the way. Like, he's been a top 3 top laner in Academy ever since he's been down there. Like, he's really playing well this split, too. Really well.
So,
my last thing is my oh,
he had a good frame freeze. It was good.
Nice. My last thing, as I will continue to say every single time that we are on this show and it doesn't happen, we're at the takeover waiting room. So we'll leave it at that.
It's a pretty
let's
fucking
move over
toxic note to end it on.
Let's move over to semi-pro.
She's
actually, before you go into semi-pro, Smacks, We're going to talk briefly for 3 minutes about Play Versus and how awesome Play Versus is, because we get to see high school talent that, may or may not potentially have effects in semi-pro leading up, but
Not sponsored, by the way.
a couple
sure?
players
But could be.
in the Play Versus Spring
send you my
2021
PayPal.
high school champions for Sunny Hills High was two of them got accepted to UCI for collegiate in Barrick, top laner, and then I think is it the support Pixel?
I think it was the coach.
Or the coach, yeah, Gavin. So
yeah.
Both of them very happy to see moving forward and continuing their potential esports careers. Barrick also played on a open qualifier team called Mercenaries, which featured the legendary Cinnamon Bread in the mid lane, who took a game off of Golden Guardians Academy, ladies and gentlemen. So just
True.
You mean Faker Bread?
Yeah.
Yep.
Faker Bread.
Faker
Faker
Dage.
Cinnamon Bread.
Power Faker.
The best mid lane prospect to ever come out of I'm not gonna go that far. But
we saw one game and the result was great. Move on.
Yep. Dude, his set looked so damn good. I was just like, the fuck is this? What's happening?
Yeah, Mark is right. The Play Versus finals just happened, and it was really fun. We got the pleasure of casting a lot of those games over on their channel, and yeah, it was really, really cool. I mean, the high school scene for League of Legends, I didn't know it was that dense and that like immersive and everything, but it really is. Like they are going really hard for high school League of Legends, and it's really cool to see.
It's a lot of
that
support.
stuff, yeah, that stuff just was not there when we were in high school at all. I mean,
yeah,
you guys are old men, so you guys didn't even have League when you were in high school. So
I did. It was season 3, but I did.
That's cool.
So.
I didn't know that.
But yeah, like there's still a distinct difference between states on where League of Legends is taken more seriously as an esport, or just esports are taken seriously. Like if you go to when we had the state finals for, I think it was Arkansas or Alabama, the highest ranked players in the finals were like plat at best, right?
Those damn Bible belters.
But
anyway.
For the finalists in Virginia and California, I think it completely makes sense to have final winners from California, because the culture in California is more accepting towards esports. I would imagine places like Seattle, New York are also great places that like encourage and see and accept esports as something as legit as traditional sports. Toronto and Vancouver are also places, not necessarily in the United States, but in Canada, are also places that show a lot about or care about esports being a cultural thing for high school to take seriously. So, because Sunny Hills High School, they were telling us about, they had a fucking Jumbotron that was showing their high school games being played in varsity.
That's
which
cool.
Is like, if I walked around my high school in North Carolina and told people I was playing on a League of Legends team competitively, I would have gotten my head thrown in the toilet, man. Like, I would have been made fun of, and like, that's not a thing that you can like publicly announce and be like, oh yeah, I'm the captain for a League of Legends team, I'm doing pretty.
But if you were that, if you were in high school right now and you were that, then you could see your Nidalee plays on the Jumbotron. So
that's cool. Yeah, that's nice to see that some of the kids are getting picked up as well. But going on to semi-pro, do we want to start with the list, or do we want to start with the cup results?
Let's do the list. I want to get into the list.
Okay.
So yeah, unfortunately, the website was giving Tim some trouble today. So
I have an image for it.
Yeah,
of our
Cubby's going to show the image.
Total. Not for everyone's individual, but for the combined total.
This is where the list will be when it is updated. I believe the plan is to update it for tomorrow. But if you look there, you can see the last time that we did it. So 2 weeks ago, that was the list for then. But Cubby just put it up on the screen. This is the list for this time around. And yeah, Fnatic is still number 1. Tuesday still number 2. Darkwing still number 3. However, there's been an uprising in 4th spot, which was previously Wixie's. That is now Bradley right there, and that is mostly my fault. Do you want me to get into that right now, or do you want
No,
to
just go through it all, and then we can discuss the differences that we have.
Okay, so Bradley's at 4. Tomio is still at 5. Doxa is still at 6. Wixie has been dropped down. Previously was 4, is now 7. APA has dropped down because Wixie took that spot. Rhino is now on the list, which is awesome. He takes the 9th place, and Shoryu is still 10. So players that are no longer on the list, I think it is just Gorica has slid down. I think he is probably 11.
You guys are
if my
kind of
math
trolling
is
with
correct.
that one, but we'll talk about it.
I had Gorica on my list.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, yeah, the biggest jump is Bradley up to 4 from 9,
and that
Rhino is on the list at all.
That is because of you and Rafa. So
yep,
let's talk through your hype around Bradley. What do you guys have?
Rafa, do you want to go first?
No.
Okay, well, I'll go first then. So, first of all, I had Bradley at 4 on my previous list. I moved him up for this one. I moved him up to 2. So he is number 2 overall on my entire list. And I fully stand by that. I think he had some really promising series overall in Cup. We got to watch both of the one against Resolve and the one against Zeus, and I think the mid laners that he played against right there are some of the toughest competition when considering the individual player and also the team that is built around them. Like APA and Fnatic are a really strong mid jungle duo, and then Tuesday and Griffin are a very strong mid jungle duo as well. Bradley had to play against both of them. He didn't win all of the lanes, but he did have very promising team fights, and he did have some lanes where he did end up winning as well. I'm particularly thinking of game 3 against Resolve, where he just hard carried that game. So I'm really high on Bradley. I already was really high on Bradley, but him winning Challengers Uprising and playing the way that he did in those games got me even more excited. And I guess before I kick it over to Rafa to carry on the hype train, I do want to add that I think my prospect list has a different context than others, which is that I have built my prospect list with the idea in mind that I would want to see these players promoted like as fast as possible. So I have Tuesday at number 1 because I think Tuesday should be promoted already. And I think that should happen as soon as possible. And then I have Bradley and then Fnatic, and it goes down from there.
Okay.
But that is my caveat. Anyway,
I changed.
Take it away, Rafa.
Last week I had honorable mentions at 11 through 15. I did not do that this week. I did not quite understand that. Rafa, what do you got?
So Smax bumped his Bradley pick from, I don't remember what it was, on
4 to 2.
4 to 2. I had Bradley at 9 last week. I bumped him up to 4. My list for top 5 is still Tuesday, Fan, APA, but now Bradley and Wixie. And I put Bradley as, so far overall, the number 3 mid is because I like to see my list as like the medium between Smacks and Cubby's, because on Cubby's list, Bradley is still at 11 on the whole list, and he still has Darkwings as his number 1.
Yep.
I think that AP and Tuesday are overall more versatile laners than Bradley at the moment. Bradley looks insane on Assassins. His Akali was
Yep.
fucking sick.
Yep.
I don't think. I think he still needs to flesh out the champion pool. I know he had a great Azir when we saw it in Collegiate for Bethany. I would like to see more, and I think right now this meta just fits Bradley's playstyle at the moment, where he is able to shine really well. And I don't want to let Cup Finals be a huge recency bias swing, which is why I still have Tuesday Fan and APA, because I still think out of those three, coming from the prior split going into this split, are the players I'm most excited about seeing. I will say I needed to give respect to Wildcard Red and the players for coming in. So before, Daption was number 14 on my list. He got bumped up to number 7. I'm sure that Daption can start pushing higher if he continues this level of play. If Wildcard Red still continue dominating and they're undisputedly the number 1 team in semi-pro for both Risen and EGL, then I expect that my Wildcard Red players are all going to bump up. Also, Winston was not even on my list. I have now put him on 8 as a jungler. So, and to be fair, both of them are over Rhino. Rhino was also someone that wasn't on my list to begin with. I also put him on there because I think he had an amazing showing at Cup, and that Game 3 set engage still haunts me in my nightmares and also gives me not safe for work. Never mind. I'm not going to finish that sentence.
Yeah, I have Rhino in my top 5 for what it's worth. So I'm also very, very high on Rhino. I think he's very good.
So,
all right, Cubby, tell us why we're wrong.
Okay. I have a very different list of mids. So in that list, mids go Tuesday, Darkwings, Bradley, Doxa. But a lot of that is because both Tim and myself have Darkwings as our number 1 prospect, and both you and Rafa have Tuesday as your number 1 prospect. I rank Darkwings above Tuesday and APA in mid, and I have Bradley as my 5th best mid laner. Now, that might feel a little bit disingenuous after he is just the victorious mid laner of Cup, right? There are a few things that, for me, detract from Bradley more than you guys. And I will fully... When Bradley has a pop-off game, it's a pop-off game unlike any other, right? But I also want to put this in the context of... Arrow Daption are the best bot lane. Arrow absolutely just crashed the head in the skull of every AD he faced in this tournament. And my ADs on this list that faced Arrow are now weaker because of him. Because Arrow was that much better than the competition, right? I will give credit to Daption as well, who is my 2nd support on the list. He doesn't really make it all like that much higher for me, but I like Rhino's team fight vision and angles better than Daption's. That's why I have Rhino ranked higher. But for mids, I really value consistency and flexibility. And I don't see that from Bradley yet. His Victor and Orianna Azir mage play is lackluster compared to the rest of the mage play that we see from especially Darkwings and Tuesday, who are my top 2 mids. I think Doxa has proved that he can play mages as well as pop-offs. And in the spring, Doxa was a better 1v9 player on a worse roster than Bradley. For spring proving grounds where I felt like the competition was higher. So Bradley gets a knock there. APA over Bradley. I think that APA we've seen so much consistency out of. He's evolved his champ pool. There are still definite holes in his play in that he can't really pilot the Akali yet, or hasn't. But also, if you go back and watch that series, APA was outlaning Bradley in every matchup. He solo killed Silas as Ziggs.
Yeah.
APA is playing good league, and yes, I think that Bradley...
Before the buffs, by the way.
Yes. Bradley does nice, in the team fights, but also, I've known how good his Akali is. Akali is apparently a more busted champion than we all thought she was, too, according to her win rates across, all leagues. And he's going off on the most OP champ. I've known that his Silas is good, but he just lacks consistency for me, and I still think he's punishable in mid. And I think very highly of the other mids. Like, I have Darklings number 1 and Tuesday number 3. And so, yeah. The big surprise I had was that, Smacks, you totally removed Gorka from your list, and Gorka's my top AD.
I did not do that. I have him at 7.
Oh, my bad. Rafa. Where's Gorka?
Well, because I wanted to put in Winston and Daption and Rhino into my list, and 3 people had to go.
Okay.
So I decided to just remove people that were not in Cup semifinals or quarterfinals. So
yeah. I have Gorka, Shoryu, Wixie, Array in order of my ADCs, whereas a lot of you guys, or you two, have Wixie first. That's still something that's consistent from last week. We didn't see much more play. Him getting crushed by Array and Winter in that series didn't change your mind at all?
I would argue that it wasn't him getting crushed, and it was the rest of the team.
I mean, it's true. Like, his score lines were fine, but they still got crushed.
This is true. I'm pretty happy with the way that I've been seeing Array play lane.
Yeah, Array's good. He's
on Array,
4th AD, but he's on my list.
Array, their fourth place series against AoE randoms, Array played fantastically. I don't know if that's actually a word or not, but
yeah, for
okay.
sure.
I think one of the games he dropped a huge bomb on Kaisa, and then the other games he was very consistent. So, good for him, considering that Short Hop proved to be a better AD carry. Short Hop Hocus proved to be a better bot lane duo than
Sketch Dreams and Fizzy at the moment, yeah.
And Fizzy,
Sketch and Fizzy, right? Which
they dropped
I
a
was
bomb on
riding
those
high
guys.
on coming from the UPL finals and going into Cup overall. I thought
that series was very, very, very close, though. So, like,
yeah,
I didn't really detract points. Like, Darklings for me doesn't lose points for that series because I thought that he played well, really well, and like 1v9 a couple of those games. But like, those games were so close from going either way. And AoE, like, the common theme is like they got a Baron stolen, they lost a team fight with like 10 HP, health bars, and randoms beat them. And they were it was close games, but I really think that series could have went either way. So I didn't detract many points from the randoms.
Sure. I didn't. The AoE people that I had on my list did not get dropped. They were bumped down so I could put up Wildcard Red people.
Well, that means they were dropped.
They were not dropped from the list.
You're dropping them for the victorious team, though. That's good. I think we're still pretty aligned with Rhino than Daption for our supports. ADs and mids are where we have like a lot of differences. And then top lane for me, because I still have Quacker on my list. I really think that Quacker is the best mid laner that hasn't gotten LCS time so far, with PCL being a close second.
Top laner.
Yeah. I think it's worth noting that I'm the only person who has a top laner even in the top 10 on any list.
Yes.
And that is PCL. I have him 10.
Yes.
Well, it's because the best top laners in the league are ones that can't put on the list.
We had Niles, Alorm, Dokla, right? Yeah.
Yep. For Cup, we couldn't put them on. We also did not put Gamsu on the list, or we denied him entry. We weren't going to, but that's something worth noting. But yeah, the top lane conversation is really strange for now.
I've been impressed with Quacker, PCL, and Faisal, and that's it. Alorum's bodied everyone else, like, destructively.
Yeah. Alorm and Dokla. Yeah, I mean, there's a reason that they were the finalists, right? And Dokla won the whole thing. So, I think we're still kind of waiting for the top lane conversation to gain some more legs than what we're seeing so far. Like, I mean, Dragoon went to Proving Grounds last split. Obviously that team has some major roster issues, so he's gonna have to overcome a lot to join that conversation. Quacker is on Wildcard B. I think he probably has to overcome a little bit less. So maybe
he's playing lanes out really well, man. Like,
yeah, I'm pretty happy with Quacker.
Really
I think I think he and PCL are undisputedly the top two
Yes.
that are in this
Yeah.
conversation. But
Yes.
Yeah, Quacker was on my list. I had to
Yeah.
drop him because Wildcard Black didn't make it to playoffs. So
Yeah. All right. I think that's pretty good on the list conversation. If we want to hop into what we thought of the Cup semis and finals, did we learn anything? Take anything away? This is where I get to say I was right again about Wildcard Red being the top team in amateur.
we all predicted Zeus to win
There we
the series, though.
yeah,
Yes, we
you
did.
predicted
Zeus was
to
playing.
win.
Yeah,
Don't,
Zeus was
don't you
playing better.
fucking try to slide that one under.
It
You thought
relates to this
Wildcard Red was the
podcast.
fucking best team. Why didn't you predict them to win, dude? Come on, man.
We're not playing the best going into that.
Okay.
They 3-0'd Resolve.
Well, they did, and it was close, but they also were coming off a 3-2 from EGP.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, Wildcard Red are the best team in semi-pro.
Yeah,
I
dude,
don't
Arrow
think,
is a fucking freak.
Yeah.
That guy played really good league. And I think that we saw a couple holes, and Zeus kind of got exploited. The fact that Zokla and Bradley could double flex so many carries in this meta, I think, and Zeus couldn't, I think was really big for them in that series.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
As soon as you see Gwen
Chase bans,
being
you don't know where
something that
Kali's
Zeus have to
going.
ban blue side is like
Mhm.
scary.
The
Yeah.
draft
Them winning game one was
actually
huge.
I think this is the time where we say the ADFX had the best drafts in all of Cup.
Yeah,
and
they had
it
good ways to
came
punish the Varus in game
It
one.
came to a head in the finals. Like they were
Game
peaking
three,
in
Zeus were
draft in the
flipping.
finals.
Yeah.
It was
they
it
flanked
was
the
really
police.
impressive. Like not just the players, the coaching staff looked really great in the playoffs for Wildcard too. So I was really happy. Like we were casting that game, and we were like, wow, there are so many picks that like Zeus has to ban on blue side as well that you usually just don't have to.
Them losing
And,
that
like-
game one, I think, was the series, honestly. Because
Yeah,
then you have
actually.
to ban Gwen on blue. And things
Yep.
got really nasty for Zeus after that. Like, that
It was awesome.
That was actually a huge win, like, for the best of 5. Because, like, you drop that game, and all of a sudden, like, we have to ban Gwen. And then any Akali, Silas, or Lucian they showed, they didn't know where the lanes were going. So, like, they had to swap over to red side next. And red's the worst side. But they had to figure out, like, who was going where. And, yeah, it really put them in a bind.
The jungle situation also ended up being really interesting too, because then we got to see Winston like blind picking Diana, and it worked out as well. He looked really
that should
good
not
on
have
that
worked,
into the
but
counter
it
matchup.
did. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But it was insane. Like the draft strategy ended up being like super pivotal for Wildcard Red in that series, and I think that was the strongest performance that we've seen from specifically Winston too in a very long time. Like
Winston's
that
been
was
consistently
really awesome
decent
to see.
this split. I know that like he was on my list, not top 10, and I know that that's lower from the like weeks previous, but I think for me like he's established himself as like right now like Griffin doesn't qualify for the list, so like the third, fourth best
Right.
jungler like fighting for that spot, right? Like the tier below Tomio Fnatic, like he's the next guy. And I'm interested to see if he starts to like push that threshold for me. I think that Winston's playing good league.
For sure.
And I mean, Wildcard Red's playing good league. The setups that they had in that first game around collapsing on the Fed Varus were fantastic. Game 3, I think Zoo's draft was kind of they didn't execute. And then game 4, like Bradley got ahead, and like it was the Bradley 1v9, right? So,
Yep.
I thought they played really solid league. And they're improving grounds. I think they're going to be a team that's formidable.
Yeah, they're the only team that's qualified for it so far.
Mhm.
Obviously, 6 academy teams automatically qualify just from being an academy team and winning games.
From making
so,
academy playoffs this year.
yeah, there are playoffs, which is awesome. But Wildcard Red, they can coast truly for like a month and a half, and
Mhm.
they don't have to worry. So that's
But
really
obviously,
awesome.
Wildcard Red will still. I imagine they still want to play so that they're keeping.
Yeah,
informed.
we had Arrow on the Proving Grounds pod, cross promotion right there, and he said that they will be playing in the
Marketer
other
smacks.
tier 2s. Yeah.
Love it.
So
Wow, Smacks. Even with food poisoning, you're still pretty damn good at plugging other shows and whatnot.
maybe
I pay him so well, man.
I am just a weaker version of myself, but myself at that specifically is still pretty fucking good.
You're
So.
weaker physically, so you're like more Giga Brain mentally. It's like the brain expanding, you know?
Ooh, yeah. I'm like
So one of those.
I'm like the guy from DC Comics whose brain is in a jar and he's just like a big head. You know what I'm talking about? It's like
Yeah,
MODOK
I
or
should know
something.
this, because it's about to be MCU canon.
Modem?
I think it's MODOK.
MODOK. Yeah, MODOK.
Because it was the
MODOK.
scientist in the Red Baron, that puts himself in that brain. Anyway, we're googling Marvel
DC.
stuff.
Comics. Oh, is it Marvel?
I just imagine this is why Smacks is so good at League as well, because whenever he plays like
He is
I
Marvel.
can hear in
My
his
bad.
voice that he is just there, zoned in,
Just
not
five
using
heading.
any like physical power, but he's just like I am no like life to his voice. He is just well, I guess we either lose the game or we have to flip it Baron here. So let's just see, gamers.
Yeah,
It's
I don't stream my solo queue games anymore. Maybe I should, but I'm doing like so much shit. But I will just like screen share them in Rafa's Discord, and like if anyone wants to watch the by all means.
Plug for
If you
Rafa's
see me
Discord.
screen sharing, if you see me screen sharing in Rafa's Discord, I'm probably doing that. So you can feel free to come watch my Diamond 2 solo queue games because that is
Oh,
exactly what it is.
nice flex. I played a Plat 3 solo queue game today. I auto-filled, and we
Ooh,
lost.
nice.
Anyway. I messed up some items, and I got pissed off, so I got to play some more League now to,
Yeah,
not mess up
you haven't
items.
taken me up on the duo opportunity yet. I'm kind of sad about it.
It's Max.
I
It's
think
because I don't want to I like you. That's why I have not
No,
taken you up on the
I
opportunity yet.
no. You got me all wrong. You got me all wrong. I just purchased Samira on Smacks D, and I'm just ready to
the
go.
second account. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I'll have to take you up on it. I could maybe
Yeah,
play
yeah, yeah.
support then in Plat 3 and, feel good about
Exactly.
it. All right, enough about our solo queue. Do we have any predictions for Risen, the next tournament? I know that the three of us are not on the broadcast. Excited for those that are on the broadcast. It's a big opportunity for them. I'm excited to see a lot of familiar faces on there.
Yeah. So
What are
let's
our
announce this real
thoughts?
quick. So Cubby, you are going to be doing LCS on Sunday evening. Is that correct?
Yeah, so I'm Friday and
Okay.
Sunday of next week.
So, despite that, I believe both myself and you, Rafa, are planning on doing both of the days of the Risen OQ.
You guys gonna
Um,
have to. I think that you're gonna have to figure that out. I'm out both days.
Smacks,
Saturday,
I
I'm
think
seeing
you're
family.
Oh,
solo
you're
streaming
both.
that
Okay.
because I'm
You're
in
what?
LA this
Oh
weekend.
yeah, you are in
Oh
LA.
wait, you rebooked the tickets, or you booked the tickets? This is the weekend.
I was always going to LA.
Oh, I was talking to
Yeah,
someone else
okay.
who canceled and was
So-
thinking about rebooking. I got
I
confused.
guess
Sorry.
I guess it'll be me.
Smacks is gonna take
doing
care of
that.
it, guys.
I'll be co-streaming or not co-streaming. I'll be broadcasting any of the games that don't have people on, and
Yes.
so that I don't die vocally, I will probably enlist the help of somebody else to help me out. Maybe ADFX, as he's asking in the chat. But we'll figure that out. The OQs are happening for Risen on Saturday and Sunday, and we're planning on making this channel the hub of any
Just like last time.
the Island of Misfit Toys for
Yeah,
the
just like
for the
last time.
broadcast, like for Cup. Yeah.
So yeah, we're hoping that the broadcast team's able to pick up as much as they can. But if they don't, and a game's available, we'll take it, and you guys can catch it here. I'm more curious though on your thoughts for Risen at the end of the day. Which team is going to be taking that second spot to Proving Grounds?
I mean, you got to say Zoos at this point, right? They were like really
I am
uncontested.
not going to say Zeus, surprisingly.
Okay, I would like to know what you are going to say because
Rafa?
to me, Zoos feels like the clear choice.
Rafa?
I mean, if Wildcard Red are that dedicated to, making sure that they're in top form, I mean,
Oh, okay. So you think they're going to win
Wildcard
again?
Black.
Oh.
whoa,
No, Wildcard Red's playing.
Okay,
Like they're playing.
let's
Yeah, I know, but you said which team is going to get the second spot.
Right. So
Oh,
if
well,
they win,
I think Wildcard are favored to win again.
right. But
Oh.
if yeah, I want to know who gets the second spot, so they don't count.
Oh, second spot?
Who's going to meet them in the finals? Who's going to win it all? Which team takes it?
Well, last time for Cup, I said it was going to be EGP that won the thing. Unfortunately, they did not.
They've struggled early.
They played
struggled
against
early.
the winners in the first round of playoffs. It's
They
not
did.
fair.
Yeah.
But they also struggled
So,
early.
Well, actually, that is a good point. So, and considering that it was a 3-2 from EGP, that they were so close to beating Wildcard Red. I mean, like, thoughts? I mean,
I was going to say
EGP.
EGP.
Yeah.
I was going to
I'm still
actually
going with
say
Zeus.
EGP. I think the EGP, they have some things to work on, but like right now, it's not a question of anyone's individual skill. It's just a question of teamwork, team cohesion, and their mid game. Their mid game was their biggest strength with Mist. It's very clear that with Skytech and Shoryu, the mid game shot calling isn't quite there yet. If they fix that or patch that up, like they're just making egregious mistakes in the mid lane. Like their early game's okay. Their late game, like when they've gotten there, it's fine. They've got good hands on their players. They just have to figure out that mid game. And I think that they're going to do it by the time that Risen comes out. So I want to see if they can do it, and I want to see if that goes, like, if they're able to get that second spot. I have faith in Tomio and Aspect and Surdy. I think that EGP is, like, their prospects are really slept on. Like, I know that everyone talks about Tomio, but Surdy and Aspect are also, like, they're not the best in the role, but they're damn good. Like, yeah, I'm going for EGP.
I'm sticking with Zeus. I think EGP
Okay.
are shoo-ins to qualify off of EGL. But for now, I
You
watched
think
what
they're
Zeus
third
did to
best
Golden
team?
Guardians. No, I think Resolve is.
There,
I
okay, there it
think
is.
I think this just goes to show that
But two teams qualify from EGL, Cubby.
depending on who people get matched up with in the playoffs bracket, it can like completely change who comes out on top. Because
Just win.
just well, yeah, obviously just win, stupid. But had EGP won that best of 5 against Wildcard Red, do we see then them actually taking the best of 5 against Zeus, or do Zeus actually
No,
win
I
that
don't
best
think
of
so.
5 because of the Gwen? Because Wildcard Red identified a hole in their draft that maybe EGP don't. Not trying to take anything away from Coach Ido or the rest of the EG coaching staff. Maybe they do, right? But that's where things get hazy in terms of like, oh, what if this happened? What if this happened? And then so that's what makes it kind of exciting though at the end of the day as well. Maybe we're saying EGP should have, will be our favorites going into this, but what if like a playoff bracket ensues and then EGP barely lose to like Resolve, and then Resolve also faces Zeus and they beat Zeus, and Wildcard Red somehow gets doesn't get through for some reason. Like we don't know, right? And then what if it's fucking AoE randoms? AoE randoms pulls out another miracle run and they identify something that they're able to. The world is super crazy, and I feel like this is the moment where we go back to our Cup Season 1 skit where Smacks pulls out the fucking board and starts drawing the conclusions, just goes on a rant again like he did during that time, and me and Cubby are just like, the fuck are you talking about? That's me right now. That's me. I'm trying to like plan out all these alternate realities, and I feel like I'm Doc Brown from Back to the Future, just talking about, well, we have this timeline, we have this timeline, and this timeline. All this shit could have happened, right? So I'm just going.
All right. Well, we'll have to find out what timeline we're in next week, because in 8 days is when Risen starts, the actual tournament. It's gonna have the same format as Cup, the same amount of days as well. So definitely look out for that. They will have multiple streams for their games, and by multiple I mean 3, because they will have Risen. They'll have Risen 2. They will also have a Risen Spanish stream, which is really cool.
I do like the Risen Spanish.
Yeah, that is going to be very fun. So lots of stuff to look forward to for Risen. We love the people over there at Risen, and yeah, we're excited to be spectators for that. It's gonna be a great time.
Team's
We're
gonna
gonna
do
be
an
in the
awesome
Twitch
job
chat.
over there. Yeah, team's gonna do a really good job. So tune in, give Risen a lot of support, and all these amateur teams and players. Gonna be awesome. So yeah.
Woo.
All right.
All right. I am going to pass out for probably 13 hours because I feel terrible. But do you guys have any last words for this episode of Raising NA? I've got some.
I do not. Thank you for everyone who is supporting us to this point. I know that, every single time we do a show, the graphics are like a tomorrow for sure from SpongeBob, but we swear this time. Doc.
Do we?
Week 5. No, I'm not going to do that to Doc.
Yeah, we don't swear yet, but
hey,
it's
we
gonna be
appreciate the
great.
support. You tuning in early in the season, and I think LCS has been very exciting this split with the fact that 100 Thieves are cracking heads, and TL and TSM are slipping a wee bit. So I think it's fun.
Like I said in the first episode of Raising NA, I think LCS this season is going to be very top heavy, and I think there are going to be some pretty good contenders for those world spots, and I think that is starting to come true. So we have a lot of really exciting stuff that is going to be happening. And we're going to be able to figure out sooner than later whether or not Wildcard Red or any other semi-pro team is going to fight to keep the title on the semi-pro side of things. So that'll be really cool. But anyway, yeah, that'll do it from us. Hopefully next week we have all of that set up. We're looking for a producer. We have one person in mind. Hopefully that works out. The first person just got like a Sunday gig that's gonna be happening every week. So great for them. It's Lauren. If you know Lauren, he's gonna be doing stuff Sundays, so he can't help us out. Which is good news for him. But we're looking at another person to do that. Hopefully all that's set up for episode 5, but if it's not, then you'll be stuck with the green again. Hope you enjoy that color. That has been it from us for Raising NA season episode 4. You guys good? I'm good.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
Woo!
See
You
ya.
can follow us